Again, welcome to Fundamentals in Computer and IT. These lectures present introduction to the world of computers. And our main objective is to explain why it is essential to learn about computers today. And also we are going to discuss several ways computers are integrated into our business and also our personal life. We're also going to define what a computer is and describe its primary operations. So we start with computers in our life or in your life. While we learn about computers, again, the keyword here is pervasive computing. Computers plays, again, a major or essential role in our everyday activities, both personal activities or professional activities. Computers have become an integral part of our lives. So a basic computer literacy is very important to each of us, all of us. Understanding what a computer is and also how it works. So before 1980s, computers were not common among the population. Computers are very large and also expensive. So only few companies, mostly large companies such as IBM or central banks or government agencies can be able to, again, afford to buy an expensive computer. So only few people have access to them. And computers were mostly used for high volume processing tasks. So this is the main reason why computers are for government agencies and also big corporations or companies. But microcomputers in the early 1980s changes everything. Computers became more smaller and also less expensive. So inexpensive personal computers and make it possible for almost everybody to be able to afford it, small companies, etc. So computers use increased dramatically when, again, microcomputers came into play. So in today, nearing 90% of US households include a computer. We can quite remember before even 1990s, computer is not part of a household item. Most of us will buy even a TV first before computers. The internet changes the whole game, makes computer more common now. So today we can do almost every task from home with the help of computers and also internet connection. So electronic devices now are converging into a single unit with multiple capabilities. For example, we can check our email on a living room television. We can even check our email on our smartphone, view internet content on a mobile devices, such as, again, smartphone or tablets. Computer literacy is now an essential skill for everyone. So we have example here, computers in your life. Example is a Netflix, using a computer system with a network. And most smart TVs, again, have access to internet system. A smartphone is a computer because with smartphone, it has a memory address, it has storage devices, it has an Apple device, which is the screen. Input device would be the touch screen or a mini keyboard, etc. We may discuss this more detail later. So computers in their own. We use computers a lot at home for different types of tasks. Example here is looking up information and news, exchanging email, shopping and paying bills, watching TV and videos, downloading music and movies, organizing digital photographs, playing games, making vacation plans, and the list keep going on. Used for reference, productivity, and also entertainment. With wireless networking, computers became more common, having access to the internet. Two or more computers be able to share information or resources. So here we say computers can be used in nearly any location with the help of wireless networking system. Smart appliances, one of the common again is the TV. Traditional appliances with a built-in computer or communication technology. So we also have smart homes, where we have a household tasks which are monitored and controlled by a main computer in the house. It can be the lighting system, musical system, security system. All the systems in a home can be again controlled by a computer. Computers in education, example will be online education system, distant learning. And we say the youth today, the computing generation, because most schools today have a computer lab. So right before 1980s, only few schools have a computer lab or even a computer classroom. Today, most students have access to computers at school, from elementary school all the way to higher education institutions. And also some schools integrated e-books, which we call the electronic books, into their study programs. So students can have access to their textbooks, again, through the computer system online. We also have what we call the wireless hotspots. Colleges and universities also are even more integrated. If you have your laptop, tablets, again, you can have access to a wireless network. Some also have computer requirement for enrollment. There are so many schools that the first day in school, student get admitted, they will give the student at least a laptop, which will be part of the admission process. So supply or bring your own device. Some schools, computer lab, there's no any computers. It's only the wiring system, and each student will bring his computer laptop or any personal computers to the lab, connect to the system. Also distant learning using computer systems, so students can participate from locations other than the traditional classroom setting using computers and internet access. Location can be anywhere around the world as far as there's internet access. So these are a few examples for computers in education. We have computer labs and classroom, or a campus wireless hotspots, or a distance learning also. Computers on the job, again, most jobs today may use computer as a tool for their business operations or any type of task. So computers have become a universal on-the-job tool for decision-making, including productivity and also communications among the employees and customers. So by all types of employees, for access control and also other security measures. For service professionals use, extensively by the military also. Military use a lot computers. Also requires continual refreshing computer skills. Common uses will be decision-making, productivity, off-site communications, and authentications. Decision-making, we have so many software applications that make it possible. An example will be data analysis applications, data mining. So example, we have a decision-making using computers, productivity, authentication, and also off-site communications. Computers on the go, again, here we say computers are encountered almost in nearly every aspect of our daily life. So for consumer kiosks, example will be in self-checking at the airport, or you may go to a supermarket and you have to check out on your own. And these are all computer systems. ATM transactions, point of sale system at retail stores, you can check out yourself. Self-checkout systems, consumer authentication systems, portable computers or mobile devices, GPS system also using a computer computing system. Now we have a technology and your boss. For example, today, if you go to a restaurant such as McDonald's, There's a computer system that you can use to order your menu, or in this case, an iPad. Some restaurants implement it to use for ordering menu for customers. Used in conjunction with the e-menus, consumers can place and pay for orders, can provide more resources to customers. So now we see almost computers are used in every aspect of our daily life, both again, professionally and personal. Next question is, what is a computer and what does it do? We will say that a computer is an electronic device that have at least 4 basic functions. First, the device can accept an input. In order for a computer to work, it needs a data, a program. So this device must have some features that make it possible to get input. Then we can be able to perform operations on that data, the electronic device. And after finishing, it can store the data. And that means it must have a memory. So a computer must have 4 basic items. First, an input device, an output device, the memory, and also the storage device, the permanent storage place. So follow the instruction called programs, which determine the tasks the computer will perform. So if we have a computer, there's 2 parts of it, the hardware and the software. Here we discuss about the hardware components are the physical components such as the memory, the CPU, the possible input and output devices such as keyboard, the monitor, the printer, etc. Now, if you have the hardware, the computer can't do anything. Computer need an instruction, so we need a software, a program. We may go more detail on this in our next lectures. We will discuss what is a hardware, what is a software, and we have 2 major types of software, the system software and also the application software. We may discuss that later. So what are the basic operations of a computer? It's to get an input, so entry data into the computer, then processing the data, perform operations on the data. Normally, a computer performs 2 major operations, either arithmetic operations or logical operations. So arithmetic operation can be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Logical operation means we check a condition if it's true or false. So computers normally don't reason much. Everything is based on either true or false. Then we have our output operation, that is to present the results after computation. Storage, which your electronic device must have some space where data or result can be stored. So storage of a program, data, etc. So that's the basic operations. And this is the beginning of computers. What is a computer? A computer, again, is an electronic device that can accept an input, perform operations on that input, store the result, and also must have some instruction or a program, a storage program that is going to follow to do the task. Then the basic operations of a computer is the input, processing, output, and storage. Communication is very important now because most of us today even buy computers because of internet. When internet comes in, it means networking communication. So be able to send or receive data or even view data online. So these are the steps. First, a computer will get an input. Let's say here we have input 2 and 5. Then it's going to process the input. In order to process the input, the computer must have a program or a special software that can do the task. Here we have a software that can add 2 numbers. So after adding the 2 numbers, it gives us the result. This result can be either saved permanently or displayed on a monitor. So those are the 4 major operations, computer operations: input, processing, output, and storage. Next, we move to what is a data and also what is information. So a data will be a raw, unorganized facts. So a data will be information, I would say information that is not yet processed. So raw or organized fact. And also data can come in the form of a text, graphics, audio, or video. A very simple example in our previous slide, we saw 2 and 5. 2 and 5 will be a data. Now, when we process those two data, 2 and 5, in this case, we are going to add them together. We get 7. 7 will give us our information. So information is the data that has been processed into a meaningful form. So a data will be a raw, unorganized fact, can be in any form, either text, graphic, audio, video. Then a data that has been processed is called information. So information process is converting the data into information. Now, next we move to the hardware. As we said earlier, a computer consists of two major components, the hardware and the software. The hardware is the physical part of a computer. It's something we can feel it, we can touch it, we can see it. Example is the computer memory, the CPU, the monitor, all these are computer hardware. So the internal hardware can be, again, located inside the main box. That's the system unit of the computer. Internal hardware can be the memory, can be the hard drive, the board system, etc. External hardware will be outside, located outside the system unit. So example will be the monitor or the printer, etc. And they are connected to the computer through a wired or wireless connections. So hardware devices are associated with all the 5 computer operations. For example, we talk about the first basic operations for the computer was input operations. The hardware device for input operation will be the keyboard or the mouse, which we call the input device. Processing, which is another basic operation. The hardware device for that will be the processor or the CPUs, the central processing unit, the chip. Monitor is output operation, and it's a hardware device, etc. So here we say the hardware devices are associated with all the 5 computer operations. So the input device, example, keyboard, mouse, scanners, cameras, any device that can make it possible for us to input a data into a computer. A camera is possible. I will take a picture or any object, and I'm going to download it into the computer. So it's input. Microphone, if I need an audio input, I will speak, save it. Then the processing device will be CPU or the processor, which perform calculations and control the computer operations. So the central processing unit and also the memory. Output device can be the monitor or the speaker, any device that can give us our output. If I need a hard copy printer can do it. If I need the audio output, then that's a speaker. Projectors or monitors to view. And also the storage devices, we use mostly, again, the hard drive or the flash drive. Data is stored permanent. So example would be the CD, DVD, USB flash drives. These are all permanent storage devices. Communication device, it allows users to communicate with others and to electronically access remote information. And modems will be the best one. Modems, normally if we are going to communicate, two computers are going to communicate using telephone line, then we need a modem, because we know in the telephone line, the signal have to be audio, but with computers, the signal have to be digital. So a modem normally will translate or transform a digital signal to analog to go through the telephone line. Then the receiving end, another modem will transfer the signal from analog to digital so that the receiving computer can understand. Network adapters, it make it possible for us to connect 2 or more computers together. Routers, these are all networking components. We may discuss this later on. So this is our possible hardware devices. We have the monitor, the printer, we have a router, the modem, we have the flash drive, the storage device, etc. So next we go to the software. A software now is a programs or instructions used to tell the computer hardware what to do. So instructions or programs is a software. Without a software, computer can't do anything. We have to give the computer instruction to do some work. So we have two types of software, the system software. System software normally interact with the computer hardware or manages the computer hardware. And one of the common system software is operating system. When you buy a computer in a store or anywhere, there must be an operating system. An example would be the Windows. If it's Apple computer, the Mac OS. If it's your smartphone, you can have the iOS, that is the iPhone operating system, or Android. Android also is operating system. With that operating system, we cannot interact with the computer because computer hardware must communicate with the system software. So system software, in the case of operating system, will be the interface between the application software and the hardware. Application software is a software that performs a specific task. Example will be the Microsoft Word. We use it to create resume or document. Excel, we use it to create a worksheet, calculations, etc. So here we say without operating system, computer cannot function. Operating system, again, interact with the computer hardware. So anytime we boot our computer or we start our computer, the first thing that happens is to launch the programs at the user's direction. Operating system will be loaded into the RAM or the primary memory. Now, most use the GUI. GUI stands for graphical user interface, which is like Windows. Your desktop, you have all the symbols, the icons. That's why it's called graphical user interface. And with the mouse, I can interact with the computer. So example would be Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android. These are all operating system and also system software. Now, the application software will say any software that performs a specific task or applications. So creating letters, budgets, we can use Microsoft Word. Managing inventory, customer database can be Access, Microsoft Access, or editing photographs. These are all, again, application software that perform a specific task. Scheduling appointment, we have application software that does that. And also viewing the web pages, the web browser is, again, application software. Exchanging email is application. So any software that performs a specific task, even a computer game, is application software. So the example giving you a word processing programs, we use it to create any type of document. It's application software. Multimedia programs, web browsers, email programs. Now, computer users and professionals. First, we start with the computer users at the end user. Example will be me. People who use the computer to obtain information. Then we have the computer professionals. And those including programmers. Programmers are the ones who write the code to develop the software. They write the programs computers use, which is the coding. Then we have a system analysis. They normally design the computer systems. So in order to start writing the computer code or write the computer programs, first I have to have the idea of what the software is going to do. So we have to have a system analysis, design the program, everything before we can use it. Then we have computer operation personnel. Normally they manage day-to-day computer operations in business organizations. Security specialists, they secure the computers and the network against hackers in the company. So that will be the conclusion of our first lectures. Again, the main goal of these lectures is to understand the concept of computing, introduction to computing. In this lecture, we cover where we can find computers and what computers are used for, and what is a computer, and what are the components of a computer. And this is very essential for our healthcare informatics course. Some of us, we haven't taken a course in computers, so hopefully this will help. Thank you.